Today we will be focusing primarily on a yin yoga practice. Our yin practice is soothing, it's slowing, and it targets specifically meridian lines in the body that work with different organs to stimulate or relax certain responses. Emily's on her back as we prepare this practice. We will start though with a bridge pose. So bending your legs, placing your feet flat on the ground, and your heels are in line with your seat, so the knees are not wide. Pressing into the feet and gently pressing into the arms, lift the hips. You don't have to go very high. Keeping the feet planted on the ground as you feel steady, shift the hips gently to the right and squeeze the lower back muscles around the kidney. We're isolating stimulation of the kidney left and right. The kidneys assist with regular menstruation. They are our detox system. Now we're going to the left, taking several breaths here as we activate the muscles around the low back in that area. And we know the adrenal glands sit on top of the kidneys as well, so we're giving them some stimulation to help regulate the secretions from there. And then coming back to center, lifting evenly through the hips. Try to release your glutes, your backside. Several breaths here before you lower down back to the earth. Take a moment to let the low back relax against the earth. Feel that support, feel the release, the compression and the decompression, equally important as we work with our glands and our organs and our hormone system. And from here you can draw the knees in, give yourself a little hug. And take your time to either rock and roll up along the spine, or you could roll to one side and press yourself up. And we'll come to sit in a butterfly shape with the legs, in bound angle pose. The soles of the feet are touching. The knees are wide, and if the knees are kind of high off of the ground and the low back feels strained, you can roll up a towel or a blanket and place it under the thighs. Emily will demonstrate this quickly on one side, so you can have that support. Okay. We'll draw the chin to the chest and slowly let the upper body roll forward. We're not drawing the shoulders up with intention, but we're not drawing them back either. We're letting the back round and curve. So even though it's called a butterfly pose, you may consider this more like a roly-poly, just curling right into itself. This helps to stimulate our kidney and liver lines, especially as we take our thumbs around the ankles and press at the inside of the ankle, kind of close to the heel, that soft spot. It's a good pressure point to stimulate our kidneys. Breathing soft breaths here. A lot of the work we do today is going to be around the liver and kidneys. We mentioned the kidneys works a lot with our monthly cycle and regulating that. The liver helps to detoxify our hormone secretions, and it helps to stimulate the hypothalamus, another one of our critical organs associated with the endocrine system. In Yin Yoga, we hold postures for longer than you may have experienced in other classes and other practices. It's a myofascial release, and that means the fascia, the layer that covers, layer of tissue that covers our muscles and our bones and our organs, can melt. It's like a massage. And it also brings us a sense of patience, room to understand how we want to react when we're asked to slow down, when we're asked to pause, and to begin to notice how we can balance the effects of those reactions for calm and for soothing, which we know also helps in a hormonal way to limit our stress release, or release of the stress hormone. Give yourself moments to check in during these poses if you need a big sigh or a big release, to allow yourself to re-enter the space of the pose. Take your time to do that. You can scan the body when you're in these postures, noticing if there's places that you tend to hold in. See if you can melt a little in those spaces. Again, it's a great practice for just allowing yourself to take up space. To embody whatever comes into that space without placing value, positive or negative, on it. Your next few breaths, begin to consider returning upright. I'm just preparing for that before taking the action. And when you're ready, just help yourself up slowly, sitting tall again, adjusting to that. We'll start to make our way onto our belly, laying the legs straight behind us. Just getting comfortable with your front body facing the earth. Take a few breaths to settle in. We're going to do some more work around the kidneys and the adrenal glands. So bringing the elbows under the shoulders. So you're going to come up onto forearms. Keeping the elbows close to the body. The legs are straight, the feet down, and there can be some distance between the feet. Relax through the hips, the seat, and the low back. We're pressing down through the forearms as we lift gently through the chest. And there's still a softness here. We're not letting the heart come to attention at the chest. We just soften around there. Eyes can stay down, or you can start to lift the chin a little. As long as you have no disc issues with your neck, we are going to have that opportunity to drop the head back to stimulate the thyroid. However, if you have suffered from any neck issues, neck injuries, please do not do that. This is Sphinx pose. In Yin, sometimes referred to as seal pose, especially when we deepen it, which you can do if the low back here is not feeling a lot of pressure. You can press into the hands, straightening the elbows, and going a little deeper into this back bend. Once again, we're stimulating the adrenal glands that sit on top of the kidneys at the low back. We're compressing them. When we compress something, the benefit is that afterwards, when it decompresses, there's a rush of blood flow there. If you're feeling a little tension at the low back, no pinching or piercing, you may just try a little intention of engaging the quadriceps, the big muscles at the top of the legs. That's just going to give you a little support here so we don't overdo it for the low back. And once again, the head could drop back or the chin could be parallel with the earth. Notice how you react as you stay in this pose. This one's a little bit more active than where we were just previously. So you may notice some different reactions, especially as we open the front body, as we open the heart center, as we work into kind of our deep seat of emotion here, in addition to all the physical lines that are being touched. You don't have to stay in any extremity of the pose. If you come up onto the hands and that is not a place that you feel you can stay for a while, you could always bring the elbows back down. You could always have a block or bolster handy to place the forearms on. Yin becomes a very intuitive practice as we sit here in these holds for a long period of time. We are conditioning our intuition as well. As you begin to consider release from this posture, bringing that slight engagement to the muscles of the legs again will help you to lower slowly. You can let the elbows go wide or the arms come out straight. You can relax the head to one side and just soften. Yeah, give yourself some room. You could sway the hips a little bit or just find stillness. Bringing the hands under the shoulders, press back into child's pose. Keep the knees fairly close together so you get a good counter shape in the spine, rounding the back here as the hips fall to the heels, the head to the earth. You could have the arms outstretched. You could place hands under the head, especially if the neck is not ready to go all the way back down. Or you could bring the hands beside the legs, beside the feet. Child's pose, so soothing, helps us to maintain a sense of peace and calm and clarity. And coming out of that big heart opener, it can help us to maybe regulate some of our rhythm again if that felt a little erratic. Slowly coming up to hands and knees.